So although I put from Roman Reigns to Cody Rhodes to Sami Zayn, uh, yes, I am aware Drew McIntyre is in there in the middle, but his reign was very brief. I thought he was even going to go into WrestleMania as champion. He ended up not doing that. They ended up feeding him to Jacob Fatu. And let's look at where Jacob Fatu is at right now. Character development, Triple H. Storytelling, Triple H. And you're not just telling just the big old bloodline storyline. I mean, Jacob Fatu can do a lot of things and could be in a lot of positions at WWE right now, but being Roman's lackey, yeah, that's what we resorted to after feeding Drew McIntyre to Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. I have my questions and I have my concerns about that. But with that being said, Triple H is more competent in this. And I'll continue to say that. I said it in the last video. I said that in this one. I'll say it. I'll continue to say it forever. As long as Triple H keeps fucking up. They got to have something on this dude. I'm telling you, they got to have something on Triple H. Because this does not make any sense. Now, the only way that this could have made sense to have Sami Zayn win the WWE Championship is to have Jey Uso win that King of the Ring tournament. Because they have so much history. Even though I know Jey Uso was talking about Cody Rhodes and challenging him for the WWE title. Well, Jey Uso didn't win at all anyway. And second of all, even if he did, it should then, if you did this, it would make a lot of fucking sense. I still wouldn't have liked it. I still would have made a video about it. I still think it's a dumb decision. But even more than that, I do think that this is just trying to please Saudi Arabia. Because they haven't had a guy that to rep Saudi Arabia like they have had Sami Zayn. They invested a lot of money into this company. I know it sounds ridiculous, but let's not forget Jinder Mahal, India, a guy who's not even from India, who's actually Canadian. Sami Zayn. I don't know if he's claims. I know he reps Saudi Arabia a lot. I don't know if he's like, but I know he's Canadian. So also another Canadian representing another country. And they made him champion. And look, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I'm just saying it's very convenient. It's very ironic that it happened here in Saudi Arabia. And you have their number one virtue signaler right here. Well, I want to say the number one virtue signaler in the company. Because we'll leave that to CM Punk and AJ Lee. Where have they been? Anyway, what I expect to happen is I expect him to be Jey Uso'd, which means he loses the title before SummerSlam. I don't think that's going to happen. But if you were to ask me, Corn, what do you want to happen? I want Sami Zayn to lose this title as fast as he can. Now, I'm not saying Cody Rhodes, and I love Cody Rhodes, but I'm not saying Cody Rhodes should be winning the title either. I don't think we could really bear a third long title reign from Cody Rhodes in this short of a time span. Again, I love Cody Rhodes. I like those. I like the first reign. The second reign, I get it, but it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. And I felt like Randy Orton probably should have won at WrestleMania if we were going to go through all that BS. But nonetheless, I do expect for Sami Zayn to not hold this title long. Gunther's going off with Nick Aldis. I dig it because it's interesting, so I'm not going to shit on that storyline. I like both of those guys. I remember Nick Aldis back when he was in TNA. I think it was Magnus in TNA. Especially his NWA days. I mean, come on. Isn't he like one of the longest reigning NWA world champions ever? Even though he didn't really face anybody worthy of holding that title except for literally Cody Rhodes. But other than that, I mean, again, you have a guy that's not even wrestling, not even on the fucking roster. The general manager who is now going to be in a match with Gunther. Which I assume they're going to be because they already put hands on each other now. So now they're going to have to get it on. Now it's going to have to be, I just heard Sam Roberts say the one thing I've always said about wrestling during the pre-show for the NXT pay-per-view tonight. Where he said, look, the great thing about professional wrestling is it always has to end in a match. So I do believe Nick Aldis is going to step in the ring again. Now, is it going to be cool to see and great to see? Absolutely. I'm not going to shit on that. But we have to look at the bigger problem. And it's the problem that I've been talking about for the past 2 years. You have all this talent on your roster, and this is what you're doing. You're taking guys that aren't even active wrestlers and putting them in these storylines and giving them the fucking spotlight. And then you wonder why there are no stars. You wonder why millions of people aren't watching weekly anymore. Why you have to go grasp and climb on top of each other and try and get fucking celebrity recognition to even get eyes on your shit. You don't believe me? They tried pulling this shit last night. So we go from the Lil Yachty's of the world, who, by the way, yesterday with Ricky Starks, the People's Elbow. Lil Yachty did his own version of the People's Elbow last night. Like, what are we doing, man? And still, Lil Yachty, we don't need this dude in WWE. I get that he's a super fan and blah, blah, whatever, but bro, you're a celebrity. You have a completely different fucking career. You have other obligations, all this other shit. We don't need you here, bro. We don't want you here, bro. There are plenty of other people that are actual wrestlers and actual people a part of the business that can be by Trick Williams' side. And if you're TKO axing tag teams like New Day, axing people like Karrion Kross and often lower deals, but yet you're paying the Lil Yachty's of the world, which I am pretty sure is going to be a pretty penny, and this is the BS that we're getting, then yeah, fam. And if you thought that was bad, Shannon Sharp tweeted this out last night. EO Sky is quitting the ring. You got to read it in his voice, right? It's only right that you got to read everything Shannon Sharp says in his voice. EO Sky is quitting the ring. She got to have gymnastics background. I just had to let people know. Anybody that see the 99 people that saw it, I just had to let them know. Shannon Sharp is not watching the pay-per-view, by the way. Someone tweets for him. Because I saw a lot of the comments and replies under there. I don't have enough time to go through all that. But if you guys want to go under that tweet, it's right there. And you'll see all of his replies. Shannon Sharp's watching Night of Champions. Oh. Like, what the fuck? This is pure publicity. Alright, relax. Shannon Sharp. And again, Shannon Sharp has no affiliation with ESPN, so I'm not saying that he's doing this for ESPN or whatever. But I mean, WWE can slot him some money, or they can say, hey, let's go ahead and collab on, whatever the fuck. And then Shannon Sharp's like, okay, cool. And he has his people tweet this out. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% sure he's not watching, but it's very weird it's very odd that we're in 2026 and we've had nothing but celebrity praise in WWE since January. And all these other years, we haven't heard a peep of Shannon Sharp about wrestling until 2026. Now, I'm not saying that. Now, he has been a fan. I'll say he's always been a lifelong fan in terms of the earlier days, like the 80s and 90s and shit like that, because he's talked about it. But he has never mentioned any wrestlers from 2000 to now. They've all been older fucking wrestlers. So that's how you know he don't fucking watch. Now they're starting to get these collabs and stuff going because now WWE is network, or TKO is doing the networking for WWE. And you're starting to see them interview wrestlers more, i.e. the Breakfast Clubs of the world. All these years, they never interviewed Bobby Lashley when he was world champion way back then. They never interviewed Booker T back when he was King of the Ring or world heavyweight champion way years before Lashley was world champion. Because that was just world champion like 6-7 years ago. No, they weren't interviewing them, but now they want to interview the Jacob Fatu's of the world. The one Samoan. Never mind. I'm not gonna. No, whatever. But anyways, I'm not gonna go down that road. Not just yet. But it's funny. And when I say it's funny, it means it's not funny, and that we should be worried that WWE is headed down the wrong path. I've talked about this whole celebrity worship thing for a very long time. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I can spot that shit out like a motherfucker. Because it's like, oh, it's convenient how during this time you're gonna say this. And then over here, you're going to show up at appearances over there. Now, because it'd be one thing if Shannon Sharp and Ocho would do those wrestling live streams like they do football live streams. Then we'd have another, you know, and they show what kind of knowledge they got. Then, yeah, then I'll take back what I said. But until then, just keep with your generic interviews with modern wrestlers and asking them about their lives and shit like that. Cool. Like everybody else. Let's get into your personal life. Yeah. We're going to talk about wrestling? Anyway. So let's get to this. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Hardcore Holly. He tweets this out and says, as I've been saying for over a year, Triple H was going to put the goddamn belt on Sami Zayn. My pissed off level is at 100%. He's more pissed than I am. Look, I'm not even pissed. I was just disappointed, and I still am. I'm very disappointed in this. Like what the fuck are we doing? Gunther was right there, man. But again, you've got Gunther feuding with everybody but wrestlers nowadays. You had him feuding with Pat McAfee right after WrestleMania last year. You have Gunther now feuding with Nick Aldis. But we got Sami Zayn as WWE champion. Shout out to Stuttering Craig. He says, I haven't watched wrestling in a good while, so please, someone explain to me like I'm 5 years old, how this guy got in position to be the face of WWE. So I tweeted out, I said, he's always been decent in the ring and garners emotions, but since about 2023, 2024, the Bloodline days, I've been off of the Sami train. Hopefully he's a transitional champ. Basically my thoughts. That's basically all I got left to say about Sami Zayn at this point. Now you have some people here, like this Stan Granidu guy, that says this is worse than Jinder Mahal winning it, fuck Sami. I'm not going to go that route only because, and the only reason why I feel like he's saying the Jinder Mahal thing comparing to Jinder Mahal is because nobody knew Jinder Mahal was winning that title. The same thing with Sami Zayn. Nobody knew Sami Zayn was winning this championship. Hell has frozen over. Sami Zayn is a WWE champion. But yeah, I'm not going to go that route. I'm not going to go as far as that. That's going way far over there, saying that this is worse than Jinder Mahal. That Jinder Mahal run was so dry. So like it all he did was feud with Randy Orton and Nakamura. He feuded with two guys. And then lost to AJ Styles. Right before Survivor Series. And then you had I would compare this more to the Kofi Kingston one. Except Kofi Kingston, that we knew he was winning. We knew he was winning that title. But when I say we're comparing it to the Kofi one, because you compared it, like I said, you compare it to Jinder Mahal where it's a shock. It's a surprise. Nobody knew he was winning. But after that, I would say this is the Kofi reign. Where I'm like, all right, time's ticking, motherfucker. We need him to lose his title. Because we need to add some more credibility to this world. Because you go from Roman Reigns to Cody Rhodes to Drew McIntyre, back to Cody Rhodes, and then to Sami Zayn. Again, Bloodline Sami Zayn? Absolutely. Pre-Bloodline Sami Zayn? Absolutely. This Sami Zayn? Not so much. Not so much. because he garners emotions in between the bell. Absolutely, 100%. We're right there with you guys. But when it comes to garnering emotion on the mic, he just don't do it for me anymore. His promos suck. Him trying to be a shit heel sucks too. Are we just going to forget about the gingerbread man? Fuck out of here. Oh, wait, look at this. LA Knight after seeing Sami Zayn win a world title. Facts. I mean, Drew McIntyre's off filming a movie right now. So I understand, hey, you got to do what you got to do. But for us to just throw LA Knight into another feud with the Bloodline like he's going to do something against the Bloodline, against Roman Reigns, and then over here on SmackDown, the show that he was just on 6 months ago, Sami Zayn is the WWE champion. Bro, I'm sick for LA Knight, bro. And to add more salt in the wound, I actually agree with Dave Meltzer. Because as I was watching this pay-per-view yesterday, and I'm still questioning to myself, why is Liv Morgan the women's world champion in the Queen of the Ring tournament when she is supposed to be the prize after the Queen of the Ring tournament? The hell, Triple H, why are you doing this? I really didn't like him cursing Liv Morgan. Because at this stage of the game, because they're trying to get this curse thing so over, and him so over, the minute he cursed Liv Morgan, it's like, okay, it's like, oh, EO's winning. And I don't think we needed that. There was no way Liv Morgan was going to win, and they gave it away. And I 100% agree. I didn't think Liv Morgan was going to win anyways, but the fact they even put her in a tournament, I'm like, well, and then also put her in the finals. I still pretty much knew that EO Sky was winning. But it just goes back to, if we're trying to build new stars, and Triple H, every single big pay-per-view, Triple H says it's a new era, it's a new era, it's a new era. Where are they at? Ricky Starks is not a star, man, and I don't think he ever is going to be, unless you have to give him a generational build-up, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that for him. I really don't. Jade Cargill, you got to cut your losses. You just do. Until she's getting a little bit better, and that was her first good match in, 2 years? First good match in 2 years. And still no reaction. Not even from the fucking Saudis, who react to everything. And now you have Danhausen, who is like the top merch seller in the company. So that's why when I see people talk about Sami Zayn and, oh, maybe they had him win the WWE Championship, so he can, he's one of the top merch sellers, and he's okay, you sell merch. That doesn't make you a champion. If that's the case, they'd make Danhausen beat fucking Roman Reigns. It's not happening. But this whole Danhausen thing's got to stop, bro. It's getting ridiculous. Because you had Liv Morgan is one thing. But when you get to The Miz, this guy says it best. Former world champion and a 7-time Intercontinental champion, by the way. They have turned him into a joke. Now, I will say this. Miz has kind of always been a joke, per se. He's never been a guy that you could really take serious unless you want to count his feuds, like his real good feuds, like the feud that he had with Cena back in the day, and his feud that he had with, of course, Daniel Bryan. We can't forget about that. His Daniel Bryan feud, man, that dude was going off. And then they had a dud of an actual match, and then they tried to continue the feud, and it just ended up being the Bellas again and all that shit. But I'm going to say this about The Miz. He is no doubt a Hall of Famer. And I think at this point in his career, he's just like R-Truth and all that. They're just happy to have a job. And it's sad to see guys like that just be happy to have a job, because WWE is still the biggest fucking game in town and always will be. So to be able to have a long tenured career in WWE, I mean, yeah, you got to be thankful. I understand that, but holy fuck, man. I mean, to keep R-Truth relevant and have him hold that tag titles, that tag team championship with Damian Priest, great. But at the end of the day, don't we kind of want more for R-Truth? Don't we kind of want more for The Miz? And now it's Danhausen just running around cursing people and you have been cursed. And there's way too many signs that WWE is headed down the wrong path. Friday Night SmackDown has been showing us. Monday Night Raw has been showing us. NXT has been cooked longer than either one of those shows. Why do you think I'm making a video while Great American Bash in June, by the way, is playing? So Night of Champions last night, it was to no surprise that they were going to be disappointed. That they were going to reach for even more celebrity clout. That they were going to make wrestling more into a joke. Because it's one thing to have the Eugene Dinsmores of the world. Trust me. I get it. We had the jokes of when I was growing up. The Eugenes, the Carlitos, the Nunzios, the Spike Dudleys. But if there was one thing that they could do was make it believable when they got angry, when they got mad, when they actually meant business. Goldust, that's another one. That people love using the whole gay thing with Goldust. You guys had Goldust. We can make everything gay. You had Goldust. Shout out to Val Venus. He says, this pride crap will cost WWE a lot in revenue if they decide to start catering to that crowd. Pride fatigue is very real. Rational folks are tired of this propaganda. Facts. There's a lot that WWE has on their plate right now. I get it. But TKO has caused a lot more problems for WWE and the image that it has at this point in 2026. I want to know, with the night of clout and desperation, which is what yesterday was. It wasn't even night. Well, I guess it was night for the Saudis, right? Which is why I played it in the daytime. But so call it the day of desperation and clout. But with all seriousness, man, you're going to lose a lot of people when you're pushing this on top of the Sami Zayns of the world, on top of not really making sense as to why we're having a King of the Ring and a Queen of the Ring, where the Queen of the Ring finals is including the prize, which is the Women's World Champion. You don't do that. And then you have Obafemi, who has been on a trajectory to being a world champion, and he goes to WrestleMania, beats Brock Lesnar, and a pretty short match, by the way. Retires Lesnar, so we thought, and then Lesnar comes back, beats Obafemi, which we already know we're going to get a third match. Probably at SummerSlam in Minneapolis. Couldn't have seen that one coming. Obafemi did not need the King of the Ring. He didn't. Io Sky, a former and one of the longest reigning women's champions in WWE history, did not need this. And then you have people running with this narrative. I've seen this a few times ever since Bully Ray said this on Busted Open. This guy says, my SummerSlam prediction might just come true for the 2026 King of the Ring, Obafemi the Ruler. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar night 1. And Oba retires Brock. And then Obafemi versus Reigns Night 2, and Oba wins the World Heavyweight Championship. The exact same thing Bully Ray said. Here's my question. Why the fuck do we need Obafemi to wrestle on both nights? First of all. Second of all, why do we need Obafemi to win that world title so soon after just losing to the guy that we made a big deal out of him retiring at WrestleMania? So it'd be one thing if you had Obafemi retire Brock Lesnar, a guy that could arguably be included in Mount Rushmore at this point. And then we haven't seen Lesnar ever since because he retired. And you need something for him to do. So yes, he'll enter the King of the Ring tournament. He'll claim his seat, his rightful seat on the throne, right? Shit like that. And then he goes to SummerSlam and he becomes world champion. Or at least faces Roman Reigns for the world title. Which I have no doubt would be a great match. I have a feeling they're not going to do Roman Reigns versus Oba. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But something tells me that they have a different plan for Obafemi. Because now it's going to be Obafemi versus whichever champion he chooses, which they might. I don't put it past them. They might make it Sami Zayn. And if they do that, they might as well just put Brock Lesnar in there as well and make it a triple threat. Yet another triple threat for a world title. I don't know, man. I'm very disappointed with Night of Champions, which I'll just continue to call it Night of Clout and Despair. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. Hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy Corn, and I am disappointed.